Away you go.
So this is my presentation on nutrition. So nutrition is where the body takes in energy and nutrients to keep the body healthy and alive and for growth and development. The factors of nutrition are optimal level, energy requirement and recommended daily allowance and safe intake. So the macronutrients consist of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So carbohydrates vary in size and the formula is CH2O. This is the main source of energy and it's used in high intensity exercise. It's made up of 45 to 65% of your recommended daily allowance, and there are two different carbohydrates, which is complex carbohydrates and simple carbohydrates. A complex carbohydrate is basically starch, and it's made up of polysaccharides, made up of hundreds and thousands of monosaccharides. So these are in foods such as rice, pasta and bread. This provides a slow release of energy, so it'll be ideal for people who are doing marathon running. A simple carbohydrate is broken down quickly and used as energy, so this will be good for sprinters because it is used in like sugars and sweets and chocolate. So another macronutrient is proteins, and it consists of non-essential amino acids and essential amino acids. It's essential for the growth and repair of the body, so people who are doing weightlifting, they would consume more protein because they're building muscle all the time. So the recommended daily allowance is 15% of the diet, and it is in foods such as meat, eggs and dairy. So people who are vegetarians can't consume meat, so they may find it difficult to get protein in the diet, so they'd consume like nuts and seeds and vegetables. There are 12 essential amino acids, and this is another component of macronutrients. So fats are made up of triglycerides, and they have single or double bonds. This is composed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. This is also one of the main energy sources, as it is used for insulation of the body. The recommended daily allowance is 20 to 25% of the diet. So this is broken down into saturated fats and unsaturated fats. So saturated fats are in things like dairy, meat fats and coconut oil, and they have double bonds, so they're high in fatty acids. Unsaturated fats have at least one double bond, and they're the healthier ones. Micronutrients consist of vitamins, minerals and water and fibre. So there are 13 different types of vitamins, soluble and insoluble, fat soluble and water soluble. Vitamins are molecules required by the body in small amounts, so vitamin D is the only one to be synthesised by sunlight, and the functions of vitamins is to keep the body healthy and alive, to prevent things like scurvy. So the fat-soluble vitamins include A, D and E and K, and the water-soluble vitamins are C and D. So the two examples of fat-soluble is vitamin K is important for blood clotting, to seal wounds and keep bones healthy, and they're found in like broccoli and green leafy foods. Vitamin A is important for growth and development and the maintenance of the immune system, and they're found in dairy products like cheese, eggs and oily fish. The water-soluble vitamins are vitamin C, so they protect cells, and a lack of vitamin C can cause scurvy. Vitamin D is the one from the sunlight, so it can also be found in red meat. Another macronutrient is minerals. So there are 16 essential minerals, and there are also non-essential minerals. The function of minerals is to keep bones and teeth healthy and strong. And you have like around 100 milligrams a day of minerals. A trace mineral is also consumed in the diet, but only in small amounts. And a micromineral is the one that is in most vitamins. So calcium is found in dairy products, and that keeps healthy, strong bones and teeth, and it helps to regulate the heart rate. So a lack of this could cause osteoporosis in older people if they don't have enough calcium, because the bones become weak. Iron is found in red meat and tuna, and it makes red blood cells carry oxygen around the body. And this is found in, potassium is found in like bananas, and it helps control the balance of fluids in the body. Another micronutrient is fibre, and this is from plant-based foods like bread, oats, broccoli and potatoes. This helps your digestive system, and it helps to absorb nutrients. Insoluble fibre prevents constipation. Insoluble fibre lowers cholesterol. So another micronutrient is water. So this is the most essential nutrient because it prevents dehydration, and the recommended daily amount is about 2 litres a day, and this accounts for 50 to 80% of your body weight. So a balanced diet is something that a person contains the proper proportions of all the 7 nutrients. So this helps us get through day-to-day life without fatiguing. And people need to consume micro and macronutrients, which are equally important, because athletes will need to have a high percentage of carbohydrates in the diet to perform at a high standard. So this is the Eat Well guide, and as you can see, the carbohydrates are 37% of the diet, which is probably the most high intake of macronutrients. But there is 39% of fruit and veg, which is higher than carbohydrates, to make sure that someone gets the vitamins that they need. There's 8% of dairy food compared to before there was 15% of dairy food in the old Eat Well plate. So this is because most people are getting obese, and this is where fat's coming from, the dairy products. So they've reduced that in percent. There's 12% protein and 3% fat, and they've also added 1% of oils. So in sports performance, poor nutrition can lead to heart disease, and this can come from obesity and high blood pressure. So people who are eating high cholesterol foods and fatty acids, this can cause the blood vessels to vasoconstrict, which reduces the blood circulation to the heart. So people who are exercising can't get the oxygen to the heart, and working muscles, so they can't perform at a high standard. So heart disease is a bad risk to a poor nutrition. But in people who are pregnant and still exercise, poor nutrition can lead to hypertension. So they need eat foods which can lower the blood pressure. So in the 3rd semester of the pregnancy, they can lose a lot of blood. So eating foods high in iron can maintain the performance and keep the red blood cells healthy, so they can have an efficient supply to the heart. So dehydration is where the body loses more water than it takes in. So the signs and symptoms of this is fatigue and disorientation. This can affect performance by reducing strength and alertness. So severe dehydration can lead to heat stroke. So it's essential to meet the recommended daily allowance of water so you can maintain your performance. Hyperhydration and hypohydration is, hyperhydration is a state of hydration from normal. So this is where you consume more water than you normally do. So starting exercise in a hyperhydrated state can have a positive effect, which is improving thermoregulation. So it'll keep the body at a constant temperature, but it can have a negative effect because it can cause confusion or drowsiness. Hypohydration is not consuming enough water in your diet, so this can cause muscle fatigue. Superhydration is achieved by manipulation with the adrenochrome glycerol. So you need 2 litres of water a day, but superhydration is more than that. This reduces overall heat stress, but it can also cause headaches, dizziness, and gastric upsets. So the recommended fluid intake is important when in pre-event because it minimises the risk of fluid loss during exercise. So it's important to drink 500 millilitres before exercising, around 10 to 15 minutes before. During the exercise, it's important to drink 200 millilitres every 20 minutes so the body can maintain the electrolytes and keep the body hydrated so someone doesn't become dehydrated. After exercise, it's important to drink 1.5 times more than what you began with around the first 2 hours after exercising. You can tell if you are dehydrated by the colour of your urine because if it's clear, that means you're hydrated. If it's yellow, then you're dehydrated and you need to consume more water. So water and hypertonic drinks are important when exercising because during exercise you sweat and sweat evaporates, so it's important to drink more water so you can get the recommended daily allowance. So hypertonic sports drinks contain 8% of carbohydrate and they're best used in the recovery stage after exercise to replace the carbohydrates which are lost through sweating. During exercise, hypertonic drinks like Gatorade and Powerade provide energy so the athlete can meet the adaptations of the exercise. Hypertonic drinks have a lower concentration of carbohydrates and they're more diluted than isotonic or hypertonic drinks, so they're easily absorbed. So people who do gymnastics would normally drink hypertonic drinks because they don't need as much energy but they still need to keep hydrated. Isotonic drinks replaces fluids, so people who are long distance runners can have the energy through isotonic drinks and keep hydrated. So the digestive system involves digestion, excretion and absorption. Digestion is a mechanical and chemical breakdown of the food into smaller compounds. Excretion is the removal of waste products and absorption is where the small intestine and the capillaries absorb the nutrients. So this is the digestive system and it firstly begins with the buccal cavity. It is chewed and the saliva breaks down the food into smaller pieces so it can easily be digested. The salivary glands lubricate the swallowed contents and the amylase is in the saliva and that breaks down starch. The food then goes down to the pharynx and the tongue pushes it against the platelet which allows the swallowing action. The esophagus is through the neck and rhythmical muscular contractions into the stomach break down the food more. The stomach churns the food and lipase is in the stomach which breaks down the fats. It then goes to the small intestine and that has bile and further absorption takes place there. The nutrients are then transported to the pancreas and protease is in there, and that's a breakdown of protein and insulin is released and that regulates the blood sugar levels. The liver filters food and secretes bile and that metabolizes carbohydrates, fats and protein. How long? And then it goes to the gallbladder, large intestine, rectum, anus, and this detects liquid, solid or gas.
Sweet.
Is that alright?
Timing. Good timing. Right.